dumping things at like the trash, and these are all Funko Pops. Funko Pops of all different types.
Sometimes the most cost-effective way for corporations to deal with too much inventory isn't marking down prices. We've got the companies that sent their own merch to the dump to save the bottom line in this week's Buy for Friday. Funko, the brand behind lovable pop figures, plans to send as much as $36 million worth of product to the landfill this year. Funko notched revenues of more than $1 billion in 2021, but by the end of last year, it had nearly $250 million in product on hand. They had to rent extra warehouse space to hold the overflow, and now they're willing to trash it. Maybe Funko shouldn't have made the bass player from U2 as a collectible. You'll remember during the COVID surges, it was pretty hard to find a test, which makes it all the more offensive when Binax Now maker Abbott had employees trash testing kits when cases plummeted. Then came the mass layoffs. Abbott said they only destroyed testing cards that were past the 7-month shelf life and were able to save other components to ramp up production when the Delta variant hit later that year, when it was again hard to get a test. A 2021 investigation found Amazon was marking loads of items for destruction at a Scottish facility. ITV News even followed the trucks, carrying jewelry and electronics to recycling centers and landfills. The report revealed Amazon tagged more than 100,000 items for destruction in a single week, while fewer than 30,000 items were set aside for donation. It's not isolated either. It apparently happened in both France and Germany, too. Luxury brands are some of the biggest offenders, even slicing returned luxury bags. Cartier and Montblanc owner Richemont destroyed more than $500 million in unsold watches over 2 years. The reason is the real kicker. They claimed being discounted and sold on the gray market would diminish the value of the brand. This is the legend of Atari's E.T. game. Back in the early 80s, Atari was killing it, but then a rushed release of E.T., for which Atari spent millions in rights, was seen as what killed the brand. The game was panned as the worst in history, and legend had it, they dumped millions of copies at a landfill in New Mexico. 3 decades later, a documentary crew excavated the site, digging up not just E.T. games, but also successful titles. It turns out it was a $500 million loss in '83 that really sunk Atari, not E.T. And New Mexico was a warehouse dump, whereas most of E.T.'s wasted cartridges were actually dumped in California. Adidas could be in the hot seat next, sitting on hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Yeezy inventory after cutting ties with Kanye West. That's your Five for Friday. I'm Simone Del Rosario, and it's just business. We'll see you next week.